Hello again, and hopefully we're ready for the fun part, assembling all the things we've made. I hope you finished making all your parts and you've glued them together and you have your flowers ready. You should have leaves, and hopefully your leaves are different shades of green, dark green, light green. And then we're going to have some miscellaneous parts that we may need later for filling in. I have a few sprigs. They're pre-made. Remember, these are half sheet. This doesn't have much coiling. This one has a very tight coil. Remember, we start by making a V, and then you can glue it together if you like. I'm going to leave this one open in case I need to adjust the stem, but this one curls outward and inward. Okay, so composition. Composition's a really important thing. And in just a bit, we're going to take a closer look of our original and talk a little bit about composition and how we're going to arrange things, not only by size, the size of your flowers are important, but the color that you choose. We don't want all the red ones in one spot, and we don't want all the tiny ones on one end and the big ones on another, and it become unbalanced. All right, so let's examine our letter K first. I've put the really large flowers on first, and I've got the biggest one of all. I have one that's super big. And then I have spaced out medium throughout here. Now, this is a straight letter, so it's a little different than if you have a curve, and that's why our other project that we're working on is a curved letter, the letter C. So it's kind of easy when you're working in a straight line. But the first thing you want to do, and I like to do a dry run where we don't glue it down. I want you to lay these pieces on your pencil drawing exactly where you would like them. And you can still move them around. I'll talk to you a little bit about how you arrange things. There is a very large purple flower at the bottom, and he's very powerful and very strong. So to balance that out, I have a cluster of smaller blooms up this way. And this is also a medium size, which is fairly big. And I also have a small cluster. This is just the triangle. This is an open 5-hole. You can make some and not assemble them. I've only used 4 of the holes right here. These are some single pieces that you can have handy in case you need to slip them in somewhere. You can put these next to a leaf and it will look kind of like a flower bud. Now, ending, we have a large flower here, so we need something with a little size to end this one. So we have our stems that coil around, and they add dimension or weight to this bottom leg of the K. We have 3 marquees, which is kind of a side view of a flower blooming. Okay, now let's draw our design onto our sturdy paper. You should have a couple small sheets of drawing paper in your kit, and we're just going to sketch the large initial. It won't be perfect the first time. You can erase. And then we're going to use this and press down, trace over it to emboss our heavy paper below. So we're going to push hard, and there should be indentions underneath when we lift this. All right, let's draw our letter. Let's transfer it to our good paper. Okay, so I have now embossed the outline of my letter. And at this point, you can go back and put very, very faint pencil marks. I would use maybe dots, not actually draw it, just to make sure it stands out, especially the beginning, the ending of letters. All right, so we're gonna arrange this and do a dry run before we start gluing to the paper. I hope you can see my lightly dotted lines. And we're gonna just move our pieces into play. Just move them around. This is what is so important about the dry run. Now you can choose to start like in the center of your letter, or if you have a letter that is straight lines, W's, K's, you may want to start at the tip. So there's no right or wrong. We're going to, let's move over to the tip. Do we want to start at the tip? Or are we going to start with a small tip? But I usually like to place first the largest piece. So since I only have one and I have two ends, I will probably put him in the center just to hold up this side like a wall. And then if you have other large flowers, you can space them out, maybe one here and one here. We want to spread out the color. We don't want all our yellows on one side. So you can put one here and one here. Now, let's throw in the medium-sized flowers. So find your mediums, find out where you want them to be. And they don't have to be close. I didn't have a whole lot very, very close in the other picture. So these are pretty well spaced out. We're going to put all our mid-size, and then we will get some small flowers. And just play around with this, move it around. All right, let's pull a stem. And you literally build the whole thing without glue first. We can add leaves. We can have both our leaves down low, or you can decide your leaf needs to be up high on your stem. This is totally up to you. If you need your project to start curving, maybe you have an R or an S, then you could use this to lead it in that direction. So use these curves to your advantage. So all right. Now, we'll go back and add, I think maybe I'll leave him. Up here. Okay. Your stems also don't always have to be double-sided or folded in a V. It could just be one swirly strip. Kind of like that. And don't forget to stay away from your outer edge because this is going to be matted later. So try to stay on the inside. Don't get excited and go off the page. All right, so we're going to place our stems. Now we can add random objects for fillers. Like it looks very empty in here. They're not touching each other. I can turn it. Or, and this is when it's good to use this needle tool. We can take random shapes. Let's put a color we don't have. We'll bring her in a red. We could put them inside. As fillers. Or some of these tight circles can just be placed on the stem as if it were some kind of pod growing off our stem. And then when you think you have everything like you like it, step back, take a look, and then you may have to go back in and add some other fillers. But you just keep adding and adding towards the end until you get it as full and as balanced as you like. I'll show you some brown. You can throw in brown. Make a stem. All right, so this is a half strip. I will tear this into a fourth. And we really just want kind of an S curve. Just a little bit of curve to it. This could also be inside. If you want to think of this as a vine and you want to put that, it kind of helps me see where I'm going to go. And then I would know, hey, I want to put a flower right there. Okay. And when you get it all in place, I would definitely take a picture. And then we will start gluing. And I want to glue the largest pieces first because those are the bones of our project. So I've got a little blob of glue. Tweezers are wonderful because sometimes fat fingers interfere and knock things all around. So we can pick our entire flower up. And you can squirt some glue on the back. You can use your needle nose tool and apply it to some of the thicker areas. Don't put too much. Stay up close to where there's lots of thickness. Some people also like to just touch this on the glue and put it in place. We've made a commitment. And we'll go to the medium size and glue it on our page. This one's got a lot of open space. Just a teeny tiny, doesn't really take much. And then basically we will glue them back down the same way that you placed them. Largest, medium, small, leaves and stems. And then at the end, we'll go back in and add fillers. This, we made these earlier as a teardrop. This could actually be, if you need a filler, you don't have to use this, but this could be inserted like it's a bud and it has the little coil on the outside. Some flowers can only have 3 or 2. They don't have to be perfect with 5 or 6. Maybe it's a bud and it's just opening. And so you can play around to feel things if you find you need to in the end. All right, and you guys are going to just continue this process all the way around. And when you have a beautifully complete project, you're going to really be glad you learned this new skill. I know this is complicated and maybe tedious because it's tiny. Be patient, be nice to yourself. They will bounce, they will break, you will put too much glue. But so many of these strips come in your kit. Don't fret, don't freak out about it, toss them. Enjoy this, and when you feel stressed out, walk away, and you can always come back. You're gonna get so confident in this, you're gonna wanna roll these at night when you're just sitting in your easy chair or watching television. You're gonna just wanna roll coils, I promise. Keep practicing.